Not of evil. Watch. His thoughts are to give you something. He says to give you an expected end. So God has an expectation for you at the end of your journey. He has an expectation. He has thoughts that he's thinking about you, and his thoughts are to expect something. He's expecting something out of your life. Those are good thoughts. Watch, I want to just show you something. The word expected means this. We dealt with an expected end. These are the thoughts that the Lord is thinking about you. Good, peace, not of evil to give you an expected end. The word expected means as a card, as an attachment. So God's expectations of you are attached to his thoughts. Alright? God's expectations of you are attached to his thoughts. So you will know what God is expecting of you by what he's thinking. Alright? It's the thing that's longed for. So God's thoughts are his longing desires for your life. He longs for you to have an expected end. Here's the key. God's desires for you are greater than your desires for yourself. He said, man, I'm longing for you. My thoughts that I expect of you, that end that I expect of you, he says, I long for it. I'm doing everything I can to get you there. I'm teaching it to you. I'm putting people before you to let you see it. But you know what you got to do? You got to embrace it and change your mind. You got to rediscover the thoughts that I'm thinking about you. Watch this. Watch this now. Your clear understanding of what the great God is thinking about you is vital if you're going to subscribe to greatness. You got to know what God's thinking about you. Watch it. When God's thoughts about your greatness, watch, align with your thoughts about yourself, transformation is inevitable. Amen. So what God is thinking has to align itself with what you're thinking about yourself. Amen. See, it's not enough for God to think something about you. You got to start thinking about yourself in the same way. Whatever God says about you, you got to think it also. Amen. All right? Remember, what you think, you become. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's Proverbs 23, verse 7. In light of the fact that God can only think thoughts that are great because of his nature. Will y'all agree with that? Amen. How many of y'all will agree with that? Amen. How many believe a great thought, a great God can think base thoughts? A great God can think mediocre thoughts. A great God can think thoughts that are not tremendous. God can't do it. It's not in his nature. The only thoughts God can ever think is great. Y'all, I'm going to drop this on you just to show you that God, how many of y'all know God created hell? Yeah. Let me tell you something. Hell is a great place. About a month or so ago, I was at the Cardinals baseball game. About 30,000, 40,000 people. I was with Elder Moore was there with me. And I always do this. And I always look around and talk to people. It was so many people. The thought came to my mind. I wonder how many of these folks are saved. Mm-hmm. Probably not most of them. You be in a stadium where it's 50,000 people, chances are, out of 50,000, 30,000 got a beer in their hand. A beer. 10,000 got many beers. Not thinking about God. Now, out of all those people, think about if just half of them go to hell. And there are stadiums like that all over the world. At some point, God got to put them all in there. Y'all know hell must be a big place. No other place like it. Only place like hell is heaven. Hell is great, man. Think about a place, man, that's going to burn forever and ever and ever and never stop. That's a great place. Why? Because God made it.
You talking?
Anything comes out of God is great. That includes you. Everything God makes is great. This is my train of thought here. So listen to this. God's expectations for you ought to be great, live great, and do great things. I'm talking about rediscovering God's thoughts towards you. This mode of thinking must be established on the outset if you're going to supersede the negativity. Everyone is thinking about you, including yourself. You got to finally arrive at the point, God has great thoughts toward me, and I'm embracing these thoughts, so I'm going to start thinking great about myself. Somebody said, Pastor, am I going to get proud? No! You better not get proud. Because I'm going to drop this on you. One of the key steps into stepping into greatness is humility. We're going to deal with it. How can you get proud when you know what you were and now you know what God's saying about you? Amen, somebody. All right? So you got to rediscover God's thoughts about you.